Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. This is the holiday version. We're your hosts. I'm Tina Prigge of Vagabond Creative Studio. This merry gal is Kristin Odell of KLO LLC. Good morning, Kristin.
Good morning.
You
I
really know how
can't
to rock
believe this is our last show before Christmas.
I know.
Actually, the new year.
All right, so we'll get our merry on today, and then everyone will go off and celebrate the holidays, and then we'll reconvene in the new year.
Awesome. Sounds so exciting. It's going to be so weird to be off and to not be talking with my good friend Tina on Tuesday mornings.
We'll have to like Skype or something. Wait, is Skype still a thing?
I don't even know. I don't feel like that it is.
I feel like that's one of those old words. Like we always say, oh, we're going to tape something and watch it later.
Yes.
I still say that.
Do you? I feel like my mom and dad say that too.
Yeah. I always say I'm listening to a book on tape too, even though it's just an audio book in a digital format.
Yeah. Now you have me wondering. I feel like Skype must have gone away with so many new things, right?
Yeah, I feel like it was maybe purchased by Microsoft, and then I feel like maybe Microsoft changed the name.
Well, they're Teams now, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's what Skype became.
We are
Although,
not representatives of Microsoft or Teams, for the record.
for the record, as a matter of fact, we're just spitballing. We don't even know if what we said was accurate.
I am a real housewife of Manitowoc County, but that's all I got today.
You know, with the leopard print, I can see that. You got that going on.
This is Grace's. Isn't it cute?
It is super cute. Yeah, you look really great in it, actually.
Hey, thanks. Maybe I should start wearing it for like every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it'd be warm too.
It is actually warm. Sometimes she wears it just as like her winter hat. But today was not a day for kind of a semi-winter hat. Like it's super cold out today, so they had to wear official winter hats this morning.
Yeah.
What is on the brim of your hat? I see some little pictures there.
Yeah, so these are some of the pins I earned from the Manitowoc Public Library summer reading program.
Oh,
Years. And I love them. They're so cute. And so that's just where they ended up.
That's a fun spot to tuck them away.
There's not a lot of places where you can actually rock a pin these days. So
right.
As an adult,
I love it.
So Kristin, you've got some show and tell today. Can you show us your ornaments?
I do. Well, the first thing I did was last week on the show, we talked about Christmas traditions and trees. And so I brought my little favorite ornament. So you guys can see this was the year I was born, 1981. And I have to ask my mom who gave this, like where this came from, but it clearly was probably a gift either from my mom and dad or somebody. I have a different one from my grandma Zip, so I know it's not from her, but isn't this so cute? The little bottom of her seat says it was a Hallmark ornament from 1981, Hallmark Cards Incorporated. Aww. And yeah, it just makes me happy. Like, isn't it the cutest thing?
Yeah, it's so special. It's really special that you have it all these years later because, okay, wait, what is that?
It's 40 years.
Thanks for doing the math.
Yeah, I know how old I am. Yeah.
Do you remember when there was a Hallmark store at the Shopko Plaza here in Manitowoc?
I do remember that. Yeah, you could get cards and ornaments, and they would often have holiday decorations. Yeah, stickers.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's like going, do you know what else I remember about that? Is Radio Shack. My dad went to Radio Shack on a fairly regular basis, and I can remember going there as kids.
It's interesting because the Radio Shack sign is still there.
It is.
So it almost gives you this false hope, like, wait, is there still a Radio Shack?
Yeah, I don't feel like, even just like who named Radio Shack? Like, from a marketing standpoint, I feel like Radio Shack does not have a positive feel to it, right? I've actually never thought about that before, but yeah.
Well, it also kind of gives you a clue to the era it was named in, like when radio was the big thing.
Right. So, and then the other thing I have, so if you want to put that picture of my mom and I up, my mom and I had the pleasure. So we go to Faith Church here in town, and they had their Christmas tea event on Saturday. So on Friday morning, we got to go and get our table set. So basically what happens is there's a hostess for the table. you go and you bring your own dishes or decorations or whatever in, and you set your table. And then on Sunday, there is coffee and tea. And then there's like a little finger sandwiches course, there's a scones course, and then there's a dessert course. And so my mom and I went last Friday together and set the table for some amazing ladies, and my two aunts came, and we just had such a good time eating and visiting. And they had a speaker talk about kind of finding contentment in a chaotic holiday. And so it was really fun. It felt like a really fun way to kick off again, another place to kind of symbolize the start of the season.
And
So
it's so special that you got to do it together. I love that. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
okay, so we got to use my grandma's Christmas dishes. So I'm gonna see if I can hold this up. So this is one of the dinner plates. Aren't they so pretty? So yeah, my mom and I spent the day or the morning on Wednesday kind of digging through. She's got totes and totes of like all different pieces. And so we pulled out the pieces we were going to use for dinner.
So I gotta put that picture back up. So that is the design that is on those plates we see. Is it on the mugs too?
It is. It's on the side of the mugs. And then my mom has this set now. So yeah, there's serving platters and all different kinds of coffee cups and all different things now. But
Wait, Ginger's asking what's peeking around the corner. I'm not sure. Does that mean in this photo or does that mean in your room?
I don't know. Maybe it could be Reggie. Let's see. Is he in the doorway? No.
Ginger, let us know. Are you looking at the photo asking about a corner, or are you looking at one of our rooms asking about the corner? And what did you see? Maybe she saw Broccoli the elf running around?
Maybe he's on the move. Yeah, so I'm really excited because this year the Christmas dish, since I use the dishes at Faith with my mom, we brought them back to my house, and now I get to keep them because we're going to use them on Christmas Day here. So they'll actually get used twice this year.
And so you're the third generation using those, right?
Yeah. So it's really exciting. It's fun to see them out. Like my childhood, I can remember pickled herring in there's like I would say like a candy dish size, or maybe it's called a fruit bowl. It's like this size. So a regular bowl would be like this for cereal. They're a little bit smaller, but they would put herring out for Christmas Day, always pickled herring. And
did you like it when you were a kid? Did you eat it?
No, I don't. I didn't eat it then, and I don't eat it now. My grandma always made like red and green Jello.
Merry Christmas, Jeff.
So, okay, Jason just put a fun fact up about Radio Shack. So let's see what Radio Shack started in 1921 as a service to the ham radio operators, which would often operate in shacks or small freestanding buildings.
Jason,
that's awesome.
Thank you. Wow. All right, that's a fantastic fact.
He is like our data analyst. We're like a real show now because we have a data person researching behind the scenes when we're talking. Like I could get into this. This is kind of cool.
And it's so cool to know that the name wasn't just random, that it was thoughtfully chosen. That's pretty cool.
Right. And so here's another thing that just makes a lot of sense. My dad was a ham radio operator. So the fact that we were going there often obviously makes a lot of sense now because he may have been getting things for ham radio operations. So
is he still involved? Like I know that some of the ham radio operators do some things with the radio equipment on the submarine here in Manitowoc.
Yeah, so he's not really anymore. He, in his elder age, has the technology has kind of passed his capability. But I do know there's a lot of ham radio operators out there and are very active. So it's not a gone thing by any means.
Oh, wait, so that's an interesting point. So the technology has evolved? In my mind, I thought they always were just stuck in that era. But so you're saying,
yeah, there's new ham radios. There's they've gone digital. There's all different things that are available. So
that's cool. Yeah. I remember when I was in grade school, I had a boom box and it had shortwave, and it would be fascinating to like scan the channels and sometimes get like an international channel.
Very cool. Yeah. And growing up, we also had, my dad always listened to like the police and fire station. He had, why am I not thinking of what's the word? It totally left me.
Is it like the police scanner?
Scanner. Yes. Scanner. We had always had a police and fire department scanner. And so, he would be like, oh, there's a fire. Oh, the police are heading to this end of town. And, So, which was good unless you were getting pulled over or something and lived in our household, then they knew. So,
Did that
like,
ever happen?
oh yeah. Yeah, a couple of times it happened. One time when the first time I came home from college, I got pulled over for speeding and they knew it before I got to wherever I was going. And another time my brother was out with some friends and had gotten into trouble and my mom knew the police were looking for his vehicle before when he got home. And she said, "You need to go down there and turn yourself in so that they're not looking for you."
Wait, I want one of these for monitoring my kid.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think it works anymore. Like I think maybe somebody can chime in on this, but I'm pretty sure they've changed it just for security reasons, especially for the police department. So I don't think that there's as much available. Fire, I think you can listen to on like there's an app. We have an app on our phone where you can hear them dispatching fire and stuff like that. But
I kind of am afraid that if I listened to something like that constantly, I would almost feel too anxious
would
about
you?
all of the things, it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. My dad always found it intriguing, I guess. He was obviously interested in it. So,
And it's a great way to stay like up to date with what's happening and to find out,
yeah.
and especially if you have any skills that would be needed or
Right. Or, you're sitting around the counter on a Saturday morning at your local coffee shop and you're like, "Oh, I heard there was a fire this week." And, "Oh, yeah, that was on South whatever street," like I could see why it could be valuable.
so I just want to go back to a second for the tea and your cool Christmas china. And I just
Yeah.
think it's so special to do something like that with your mom. Like, what a
Mhm.
great memory. Do you think that someday you might do that with one of your daughters?
I think so. So here Jason answered. Most areas these days use an encrypted scanner frequency, and that's what I thought. Thank you. Look at
Yes. See?
Jason, you're hired. You can never not do this again. This is so fun. Um, yeah, so 2 years ago, I got to go to the Christmas tea as a guest and really enjoyed it. Last year, we were supposed to hold the table, and Doug got COVID. So we were on lockdown basically the whole month of December last year. And actually, somebody took over my table last year. And so this year was like, woohoo, we're finally doing what we had planned. My mom and her two sisters came and like loved it. I had girlfriends join me this year and it just was really really special and really fun and I love the ability to kind of get together. I love the tradition of it and yeah, it was
Yeah.
really
Well, we talked about like the table settings at the Raw West Art Museum, and my mom had taken me to see those my entire life, and now the
yes,
last 2 years we got to do a setting together, and so it
right,
kind of reminds me of that, just that special bond and doing that together.
right. And the other thing that's cool, so somebody actually mentioned the table settings at the Raw West because every host brings their own things. So every table is different. So it's almost fun just to walk around the room and see like how everybody decorated different, how many different plate patterns or plate choices there are, or silverware or decorations, or just there's so many different things. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So
And it's really kind of cool because, China that has a specific pattern like Christmas really has
right,
a limited use during the
right.
year. And so it's kind of cool that you get to bring it out for different
Mhm.
occasions.
Yeah. And there's even like I saw somebody had done something that was more like Asian inspired and they had like dark red plates and they were the square ones. So
Mm.
there was a little bit more Asian Pacific feel. Somebody had I don't know if you've ever seen this pattern, but they're white with a blue pattern and they have like the windmills and they're probably very German or Austrian kind of inspired. And those are actually my aunt has a set of those for my grandma, and those are the Thanksgiving plates. But somebody had them set on a navy blue tablecloth with white snowflakes and things. So, like, again, a totally different pattern, but really beautiful. So it's really fun.
Yeah, I think the blue windmills, that might even be a Dutch pattern.
Yes, now that it could be, you're right. Um,
All right, well, Kristen, I am dying to know, how did Matilda Jr. go?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. All right, friends, if you went to Matilda this weekend, please chime in. But Grace did an amazing job. So she was kind of in the ensemble this time. She was a big kid, and that girl danced her butt off on stage. She was in 6 or 7 different songs, and some of them were pretty intense from a dancing standpoint, but I'm so proud of her. It takes a ton of work to be in a show like that, and the show weekend is always intense. And she did it with ease. And this was one of her costumes. This was her main costume. She was, like I said, a big kid in her school uniform there at Matilda's, Mrs. Trunchbull's school. So
That's such a great story.
the show was hilarious.
Tell me more.
They
pulled it off?
Yeah, they totally pulled it off. The character, Mrs. Trunchbull, was so well cast and so fabulous. It was just really good.
Was that played by a kid or played by an adult?
So no, it's all kids. The kids were ages 8 to 18 for this show. So yeah, I think the Mrs. Trunchbull, that character, one of the main characters, was 16 or 17 years old. And yeah, so to Race's point, the kids, this is a British London based show. And so all the speaking and all the songs had a British accent to it, which is incredible. And then there is Russian characters in this. So there were some kids that had to do a Russian accent, and it was like funny. It was serious. It has some different music to it. I think we talked about this. Like, it has a little bit of like, not Christmas music, but Nightmare Before Christmas feeling. And so, the songs are unique and different. And they just did an incredible job. There are 40 kids in the show. So Treehouse does such a fabulous job with children's theater, and it's always so much fun to go. And the really, really exciting thing coming up is they're doing Lion King Jr. in spring. So it's the last weekend, kind of first weekend in May, if you look at the dates, and it's going to be at the Capitol Civic Center.
Oh, that's so cool.
So they're moving from UW, which is a big stage for those kids, to a big stage. They're going to be at the Capitol. And again, a beautiful building. And I can't think of a better place to do Lion King Jr. than at the Capitol Civic Center. So
that's going to be an amazing experience. Well, I'm impressed to know that they took on the accents.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really good. If you didn't get a chance to go to the show, there are some, they paired some mini clips together and put them on their Facebook page. If you just want to go take a peek and see the characters or kind of check in, please go out there, because it was really, really good.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
You know what else is really, really good, Kristin? Is just like the Christmas vibes downtown. Have you been downtown Manitowoc, like in the evening recently?
So we kind of drive through town multiple times a day. I find myself in the child transportation industry. And yes. And actually, we were just talking about the Capitol. So I think you have an amazing picture of the Capitol Civic Center.
Yeah.
So this Saturday night, I see Lakeshore Wind Ensemble on the marquee. So I'm guessing that was the show.
It was. And look at how cool, and this is just a little glimpse, but if you look down the street then too, there are all of like the green and red Christmas decorations on the light poles. But right. I just loved this, not only the red and green on the building, but if you notice, it's Tom Drill opening the door. And look at, there's the kids. I love that blue coat with the fur-lined hood. It just has, I don't know. This is just the warm feels. I love this.
Yeah. Look at the little their little calf boots on. They look nice and warm. And yeah, our downtown is beautiful. I think there's so many stores stores and businesses downtown that have done a really good job with decorating and getting the evergleams. Yeah, there you go. Is this a public library, Tina, from the outside?
This is. Yep.
Yeah. So just all the different colors of tinsel trees that are there. And
yeah, I got this close up of this tree that had like little bows on the tip even, and it just was so pretty. And like you said, the downtown windows, so many of the shops are participating with the evergleams on display.
Right.
And I didn't get a shot of it, but we were standing in front of like the flower gallery, and then we were like looking over the river, and you could see the evergleams. We were like, wow. Right. Where we live, it's like a Christmas kind of wonderland.
Yeah. And you have to, if you kind of cruise through downtown, you almost have to stop at the flower gallery, because their front windows are beautiful with deer and big silver and pretty decorations. But then around the corner, there's a fireplace scene that's different. And then even further down, there's Santa in his sleigh, and that one's different too. So you kind of have to almost walk around downtown to check it out.
Yeah, I totally agree. It gives me the feeling of Gimbals or something back in the day, like these large department stores where they would always put all of this thought into their windows. I feel like you get that, down at the flower gallery with their windows.
I agree with you. I agree. The kids we were driving through downtown. I don't know where we were heading, and they were making candy in the window at Bernstein's in their new in the spot next to where the parlor is. And the girls were like, they're making candy in there. And I was like, oh man, I wish we had time to stop today. Cause like, how cool is that to sit and watch?
I've wanted to see that now for a while, and it's never going on when I happen to be passing by. Could you tell, were they making chocolates? Were they making ribbon candy?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I have seen them last year. They were cutting and then rolling the little hard cherries that are on the wire cherries. Am I saying that right? But they were cutting like the sugar and then rolling it in their hands. So it must have been warm to get the cherry shape and then putting the wire in. So I did get to see that last year. It was really cool.
That's how they make that. Oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah. So
what else was downtown? I didn't see it myself. My dad sent me this picture. There were reindeer on the lawn at the Manitowoc Public Library. Like, isn't this just so Christmassy? I see this and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it doesn't I don't like the first thing I want to say is like, this doesn't look like Manitowoc.
Right.
It's like a cute little up north town. Yeah, look at those reindeer. They're so beautiful. Look at their horns.
And apparently, okay, so this is Donner and Vixen, he told me. And then somebody else told me that they're female reindeer, that all reindeer have antlers. So you might think that they were male, but in this case, they're not.
Did your dad get to like feed them or visit with them? Did he have a conversation with Donner and Vixen?
You know what? I don't know. We only chatted about it via text, so I don't know for sure.
It's super cute that your dad was like, I need to get a picture of this for Tina. I love that.
Thanks.
I'm sure the library probably has other things going on yet. You should probably stay tuned to that, right?
Oh, I would imagine. I think it's probably worth stopping in the library during the holiday season, even to see the evergleams. The display is excellent.
Yes. Last we were driving. I was with Grace on, I have to think about this, Saturday night. Doug and I took Grace down to Brick's for dinner as just like a special treat because the girls had practice at church for their program on Sunday. We had a very busy weekend. And so we're like, let's treat Grace to dinner, just, the three of us. And we were driving back on Calumet or Washington Street, heading, kind of towards, I don't know, Walmart that way. And we passed one of the trolleys. And I was like, oh, that's a trolley. And she's like, what? And I don't know when this is going on. I should have looked it up, but they do
Saturdays.
Is it Saturdays throughout the month?
Yep. I think there's 3 Saturdays. I think it just started, and then it's going to be the next 2 Saturdays.
Nice. So you can tour like the Evergleams, and I think it goes through Lincoln Park, right?
I don't know about Lincoln Park, but that would be a great addition.
Yeah.
I know it does the Evergleams.
I might be confusing this too, because I think there was some where it was like the North Pole thing where you got to like wear your jammies and go on a trolley and go through Lincoln Park and do cookies. So I might be mixing this up, friends. But anyway, we saw a trolley. At first I was like, I think I said to her like, oh, what is a garbage truck doing out on a Saturday night? Just because of the lighting on it looked weird. And then as we got closer, then I was like, oh, it's a trolley. And she's like, a trolley? And I was like, yeah.
Cool.
It was kind of downtown.
And you brought up Lincoln Park. I heard that the music, how like when you drive through, you can tune your radio to a certain station.
Yes.
This year, the music is the Manitowoc Symphony Orchestra.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Have you been through Lincoln Park yet?
Not yet. We usually go like around Christmas, like those few days. So I haven't gone yet, but I'm anxious to.
Yes, we haven't yet either. I get the pleasure of volunteering with a group there this year on the 22nd. I'm going to go and volunteer at the ticket booth there and help people get in. So it's always fun. Not that I want to promote another county, but Making Spirits Bright in Sheboygan County is also really amazing. That's a drive-through light show as well. So if you're up for taking a ride, I highly recommend.
You could even make a night of it. Wouldn't it be fun to do like both in one night? Stop and get some hot chocolates or something.
Yes. I love the way your brain is thinking there, making plans. It's nice, when like it's bitter cold today. It's nice as it gets cold out that there's still some of these activities and things that are going on as we lead up to the holidays. I think it's really fun to be able to do that as a family.
Yeah. And I love that too, right? Like it's something you can do as a family. I think that's one of the things that makes it special.
Right.
Like, I don't think I would appreciate it as much if I just hopped in my car and drove through by myself.
Right.
Like, it would still be cool, but it's about, I think, sharing that experience.
Okay, is Teak in to, like, driving through the light show with you as a high schooler?
Um, that is a really good question.
Or is this like a romantic light show ride for Jason and Tina?
No, I mean, he will often go, but, maybe
Begrudgingly?
begrudgingly, yeah. But then it seems like he enjoys it. But yeah, it's certainly not his idea. So Laura Lee is messaging us from Japan. She's like in
Ooh.
the Kyoto, Kobe area. Laura Lee, it's 5 degrees Fahrenheit.
I was just gonna say, here's what I have.
Oh, it's 3 degrees where you are.
3 feels like -2.
Yeah.
I would also say I drove the kids to school. I pulled out of the garage. My car said 10, then 9, then 8. The girls are like, it's still going down. I get to call out the next one. And it stopped at 4. So it's definitely in that range.
Wow. And so Laura Lee, that's Fahrenheit. And so I think Celsius, because it's less than 32, I think it's in negative digits
Yes.
if you translate it to Celsius, but maybe you can tell us what that conversion is.
Right. Grace, Nora actually said, what is below 0? What is a negative number? We had that conversation this morning on the way to school about how the numbers work once they pass 0.
Interesting.
So, little science lesson on the way to school today.
That's awesome. Which, like, is it comprehensible by describing it that way?
I mean, I kind of tried to explain to her that if you were buying a $3 Lego set or a $5 Lego set and you only had $3, that you would owe it. You know, like there would be a balance or a negative that you would still owe. So I think what I told her is that when she gets home tonight, I'm going to do it on a number line where she could see like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, because I think it'll make more sense to her to see it that way. But
That's awesome. It's awesome that like this real life experience, this bitter cold, is going to benefit her like math understanding. That's great.
right. Well, and I'm sure she's in 2nd grade, so I think she's going to get those negative numbers this year. But yeah, it was kind of a fun way to see it come up and then be like, okay, how do I explain negative numbers?
Yeah. Or do the kids, are they aware that there's a difference between like Fahrenheit and Celsius?
Grace definitely is. I'm pretty sure Josie is. Nora, no, she's not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about the kids. You're talking about your busy weekend. Let's talk about Saint Nick.
Saint Nicholas. So Sunday to Monday, jolly old Saint Nick made a visit to our house. Again, this is in German, Eastern European tradition. And the history of it was like St. Nicholas would throw coins or fruit in to help poor families. And they would typically land in shoes because the shoes are lined up to dry at the hearth. So that is a bit of history. Probably not the most eloquent delivery, but you get the idea. So anyway.
By the way, minus 16 Celsius. Thanks, Laura Lee.
Oh, Laura Lee, I love that you looked it up. That's cute.
It just makes it seem so much colder, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that sounds worse. So Saint Nick did come to our house on Sunday night. So you can see their stockings are kind of weighted differently. The doggies got some new bones up on the mantle. But then Broccoli made his big return. And so Broccoli each brought them a little door sign here. So you can see these little elves. So they will get hung on their doors to mark their doors for the season. So
nice. And so what has Broccoli been up to since his return?
Well, he kind of laid low the first night. He was hanging close to where the stockings were. I'm thinking he wanted a line of sight to that. And then last night or this morning, the girls found him. I have these like very tall wooden candlesticks, and I'd set them alongside Grace, got some flowers from the show. And so we kind of set up a little scene with her flower gifts. And he was like kind of pole dancing on one of my wooden candlesticks today. So we'll see what he does the rest of the season. But if there's a good one, I'll take a picture and show you in the new year.
Definitely. And so do you have it all like planned out, like what Broccoli's going to do each day? Or do you sort of, spitball and wing it?
There's an inspirational piece to Broccoli. Sometimes it's a panic the panicked version of I have forgotten and now I need to quickly speed up. And then there's the other versions of thought out. But I would say broccoli is pretty low key. He doesn't pull too many large shenanigans that require cleanup.
Nice. So do the girls like look for him in the morning? Are they kind of excited?
Absolutely. First thing that they do. Yep. They get excited about it. They're not allowed. They have a rule that if you find broccoli, you're not allowed to tell where broccoli is because the other girls want to be able to find him themselves. So, yeah, it's fun. It brings
That's
excitement to the 20 days between when he comes and when he goes.
And then do you kind of talk about the situation you found him in? Do you have like, discussions like, what could he have been thinking? What does it look
It
like he's doing?
depends. Like there was last year for Nora. So Nora's birthday is coming up this weekend. And last year, Broccoli had black paint and he wrote on the windows, "Happy birthday, Nora." And so there was a lot of discussion like, how did he do it? What was he doing? How are we going to get it off? That kind of stuff. So yeah, some days it's just like a giggle, like, okay, we found him. And then other days there's a lot more conversation around it. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I was telling you last time about my son's advent calendar and how it has these little Funko Pops. And now
Yes.
that he's opened a couple of days, they're like this big, and it's kind of super fun, right? Because it's these characters from Dragon Ball Z that he's been, this anime that he's been watching for a long time. But so we had this whole like prognostication session. So once he opened 4 doors, it was like, okay, who's going to be next? Who do you think is going to be on the last day? Like, how are we talked
Yes.
about it for like the longest time, and I thought this is pretty cool. Like
Right.
this whole in-depth conversation resulting from an advent calendar. So I was really thankful for it.
Right. I think that's a great example of like as your kids get older, you have to find new. We talked about this with Grace and Doug dancing a while ago. Like, yeah, you find new ways to connect with them and have conversation with them. And so obviously that's like a super cool way that you and Teak have been able to have some fun, thoughtful chatter.
Yeah, because I don't know if anyone else out there is a parent of a teen, but sometimes they're kind of reticent. Sometimes you don't get much out of them other than, yes,
Yeah.
no,
I was just gonna say, do you go for days without like speaking with him?
Sometimes, but then there'll be these moments where he's just like a total chatterbox, and then I'll just stop whatever I'm doing because like those are the moments you got to pay attention and plug in. And
Yeah, we're purchasing some gifts that were donations for this year, and Grace didn't get to go over the weekend because of the show. So he had taken the little girls and did some shopping, and he took Grace just by herself last night after dinner, and they went. And it's kind of the same thing. Like the 3 takes that she got to shop for were teenage girls. And so she really got to like think through like that lens of what would I enjoy or what can I pick out that I think these girls are going to love. And so, yeah, they just had that like one-on-one time. And I think, oh man, that's so important as they get older to be able to find spots to do that.
yeah, absolutely. And also what a good scenario too to sort of cultivate empathy, right?
Right.
To try to think through what would somebody else appreciate. Well, let me think
Right.
about it through my lens. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so, and we kind of purposely tried to have her get to shop for the older girls, and it was fun. They had a really good time. So
Wow. Speaking of good times, I had such a good time chatting with you. I can't believe it's already after 9 o'clock. How did this go so fast?
I know it does go fast. Oh my gosh. Okay. What is our show date in January?
Okay, that's right, you guys. So this is the
Calendars.
last show for 2021. So let's synchronize calendars. So
January 4th.
let's do it. Same
Oh
bat
my
time,
gosh.
same bat channel.
January 4th, friends. Mark your calendars. Kristin and Tina will be back in the new year,
Yes.
2022.
That just sounds crazy, 2022, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like
It
in
is.
my mind's eye, by 2022, we were going to have flying cars, I think, when I was a kid. Like in 1981, that's what I was thinking.
You know that in like the spring of 2022, we will have been doing this show for 2 years. And I don't think if you and I and Jason ever thought about we're going to do moms in lockdown and COVID, that we would ever be sitting here having all these amazing people chatting in and commenting. Like, that's really awesome.
Yeah. I never expected to enjoy it so much.
Aw, I enjoy it too. I'm almost at I get to have a cup of coffee with Tina Prigge on Tuesdays. How special is that?
And thanks everybody for joining us in the chat and for adding to this conversation. We really enjoy it. You know, from me, I'm sure on behalf of Kristin, wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas. Hoping you have a safe holiday, an enjoyable holiday, and a wonderful new year. And we will see you in the new year.
See you guys.
Mary said, makes my day.
Aw.
Thanks so much, Mary. That just made my day.
That's right. Me too. All right. Rest up. Get your commenting fingers ready. We'll be back in 2022.
We'll see you next year. Okay. Merry Christmas,
Merry
all.
Christmas. Happy New